Providence basically came out of this encounter with God where I was so shut off from revival culture. I was more fascinated with encountering God in the marketplace and in the world and watching him shift culture towards him. And so basically I shut myself off from encountering God in church in certain moments. One day I was in prayer and I had my eyes closed and I'm just praying with God, and I'm in church and I hear the pastor up on stage shout these words, "And pray for the spirit of revival." And I roll my eyes. And before I could get my eyes all the way around, God interrupted me. And he goes, "Max, you know I was also the spirit behind the Renaissance." And a lot of how I encounter God and how I learn from him is through etymology. And so knowing that, he goes, "Max, you know you've never actually looked up the definition of Renaissance." And so I pulled out my phone and I looked up the definition of Renaissance, and it said, "The revival of arts and culture." Now that was me. I was more interested in watching God come out of the church and spill into culture and start to shift the cities, shift the world towards him. And as I studied the Renaissance and the etymology of it and where it came from, I came across the word Providence. And I'd heard it before, but I never quite understood what it meant. People and artists of the Renaissance and the European age in the 14th century had this viewpoint as they created their works, as they pursued their dreams, that God was the one sustaining them and guiding them towards their goals. Here in culture now, humanism is what's running rampant. The more I studied Renaissance, the more I came across the word Providence. They were two words running in parallel with each other in the European Renaissance. And as the years went by, Providence began to be taken over by humanism. And nowadays, in the modern West, we have no idea what Providence means, but we are very familiar with humanism. From that moment, I knew what I had to do. Providence is about reigniting that fascination for God and people. As children of God, sometimes I feel we can grow up in this world when he commanded us to stay young forever. And being a child is what keeps us in wonder of our Father. And so Providence is a book about that, purely fascinations with God and my journey with him throughout the last 10 years of my life. And so I hope when people read Providence that they capture that fascination that I have for God, and it actually inspires them to go pursue their own again.